Welcome to How to Hear, Feel, See, and Know Your Angels. Have you ever wondered if you could communicate with your angels? I didn't. I didn't know it was possible. Do you know that even Time magazine ran a cover story not too long ago that said almost 70% of Americans believed or had experiences with angels? Have you ever had any experiences? Do you believe in them? Have you ever wondered how to communicate with them and what that purpose is about? Well, it's about making life more fulfilling, making it easier. They also help play a role in intuition and life purpose. Hi, I'm Shannon Schilling. I'm a nurse, financial executive, and spiritual educator. Since 2002, I've been teaching people internationally how to communicate with their angels, find their life purpose, and live happier, more fulfilling, enriched lives. Joining me today to show you how to do just that is Paul Mashevsky and Sharon Johnson. Sharon?
Hi, I'm Sharon Johnson, and I'm I'm talking to you from Northern California. I first got involved with exploring deeper communication with my angels, actually as a child, because I've been taught that we all have a guardian angel. When I got a little bit older, I discovered new spiritual horizons and was excited about learning how to communicate in a conscious, deeper level with my own guardian angels. Since that time, I have been a spiritual educator with New Spiritual Horizons and some other programs for over 40 years. Paul?
Thanks, Sharon. I'm Paul Mashevsky. I am based in Australia. I'm a journalist, I'm a spiritual educator, and I'm also a presenter with men's spirituality and men's health. I first became aware of spirit guides as a kid growing up in New Zealand. When I went to school, the religious church I went to talked about guardian angels, a bit like Sharon and Shannon. I was never quite sure how or what they were. I used to go for long walks up the beach. Any time I was faced with a challenging situation in life, there was always this calm, gentle, reassuring voice that had insights and solutions. I found if I followed those and trusted the insights, everything worked out fine. So, using this program, I learned to develop that and refine it a great deal and work with it in my career as a journalist and also in my private life, my personal life. So for the last 40 years, I've been working with people around the world, in several countries, teaching men and women how to connect with their angels, their spirit guides, and make it a practical reality in their life. It's been a very rewarding and fulfilling journey. Shannon.
Thanks, Paul. We're spiritual educators introducing new Spiritual Horizons classes and consultations. We're also joined today by 5 members of our master classes from around the country that are successfully practicing our methods in their everyday lives for growth and success in their personal lives, business ventures, and even in their relationships. In this presentation, we'll be sharing some of our very own real experiences with our angels. We'll explain exactly who and what they are, how they work with you, and most importantly, we're going to show you how to start opening the door and a few simple steps you can do to have communication with your personal team of angels to get answers for your life, your purpose, and your direction. Imagine never feeling alone again and feeling the support, love, and security of having a direct link to your own team of personal helpers. My life changed once I met my angels. Right before I met my angels, everything started going a little bit haywire in life. I wasn't feeling fulfilled, I wasn't happy. I had moved, I changed careers, and things still weren't feeling quite right. After I met my angels and learned how to work with them, I knew what was best for me in any situation, and I felt confident in all of my decisions. So I was able to make decisions for my life purpose and moving forward in my life that really brought a lot of fulfillment for me. I'm going to turn it over to Paul, and Paul's going to share a little bit about how to have that successful communication. Paul?
Thanks, Shannon. So, as spiritual educators, we're here to share with you what's worked for us in our lives and what we've been able to make practical. We're not here to prove anything. So it's important to take with you whatever resonates for you from this presentation. There's 5 key basic principles to the New Spiritual Horizons program that can give a bigger picture of life on planet Earth. The first of those key principles is that we are energy. Basically, we are soul on a journey of human experience. Our physical body is the vehicle which gets us through this life. But basically, we are intelligent life energy. It's important to recognize that. The second key point is that we're here to learn and grow. Life is all about learning and refining. The more we learn from our lessons in life and what we're experiencing, the easier we evolve. That's where evolution comes in. The next step, we all have a unique life purpose. Each one of us is here to master certain lessons, to learn from other people, and also to share what we have with other people as well. Other people learn from us. The big key is that our spirit guides are there to help us with that life journey. And that's what we help people with, to find that life purpose and feel the backing that our spirit guides can work with us on. We all have our own unique team of inner guides, spirit guides, a team that's there to help us with our specific life journey. And they've quite often mastered the lessons that we're here to master, so they can help us with their insights. The other key is that we are free. Basically, spiritually, we're free to make our own decisions, and we have free will in life and free choice. There's a lot of freedom with that. Let's try a relaxation technique now, which can a bit of a key towards connecting with spirit, connecting with our guides. I'll talk us through this. So take a moment and get just sit nice and comfortably in your chair. Close your eyes. We're going to breathe in to the count of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And breathing out to the count of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Breathing in. 1, 2, 3, 4. Breathing out. 1, 2, 3, 4. Breathing in. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then breathing out. 1, 2, 3, 4. Just release any thoughts of the day, any concerns about the past or the future. Just relax and feel present with your breathing. And you're ready, come on back and open your eyes. We'll get a couple of people to share what they experienced. Alvin, how about you?
Yeah, the breathing technique felt very gentle, almost like I had a feeling of being rocked to sleep. I remember, thinking back when I was a child, an infant, it was just very nurturing. Um, yeah, I'm very relaxed and feel really good. And I was also very focused too. Even though I was feeling relaxed, I was just really feeling centered. Thank you.
Thank you. Dorinda, how about you? What did you experience?
I felt just a real sense of peace and relaxation. At the same time, I felt really energized and in the present. I know in my life, my communication with my angels totally hinges on me being relaxed. And from the moment I learned about working with my angels, I began practicing this and more in-depth tools for that deeper relaxation, to be able to be super receptive to their subtle hints, so forth. So yeah, felt great.
Great. Let's move on. And one of the key questions a lot of people ask is who and what are angels. You got the next slide there, Roger?
Yeah.
So right throughout history, different religious traditions, different spiritual traditions, and even indigenous cultures have always talked about a higher guiding influence. They're called different things. The Bible calls them angels. Different indigenous cultures call them mastered ones, evolved ones. There's many different names for them. Basically, they are highly evolved beings who've incarnated through the planet many times. They've learned all the lessons from planet Earth. They've mastered all the lessons of planet Earth. So they help us now with their experience and their wisdom. They're basically called high souls. And everyone has their own team of guides. Later on in the presentation, as Shannon mentioned, we'll talk about a way that you can learn to form a very direct two-way communication with your guides and get very clear yes and no answers from them. So our guides communicate with us in all sorts of different ways through our sensitivity, sometimes in simple ways and sometimes more profound ways. We'll be looking at that as well. For me, quite often when they're communicating with me, what happens, I get a calm feeling comes over, sometimes goosebumps. Then I always get a gut feeling. I've learned to trust that gut feeling and follow it. And I tend to have a lot of coincidences of just ending up in the right place at the right time and meeting the right people if I trust that gut feeling. I had an interesting experience several weeks ago. I was driving down country heading for a conference, a weekend conference. And as I was heading for the motorway, I got this feeling of calm and just this gut feeling to take a small country side road I'd never even seen before. So I followed that road and took it down. And just before I got on the motorway, the steering failed on my SUV. I lost all control of the steering. And if that had happened a few moments later, once I got on the motorway on the high-speed traffic, that would have been absolutely disastrous. So I looked around. I was stuck there late Friday afternoon on a holiday weekend. I thought, wow, I've got no way of getting to my conference now. But I looked around, and right where it had broken down, there was a farm gate with a sign that said machinery repairs. And I just got this overall feeling of calm that everything was going to be fine. Everything was going to work out. So I went in there. This wonderful old gentleman just finished his day's work. He was a bit tired, but he was happy to help. And within 30 minutes, he found all the right parts and had my car fixed and back on the road again. The beautiful thing was he refused any payment for it. And he said he had a life mission to do a good deed for somebody every day. And that basically made him feel good, doing good work for somebody every day. So it's good to be aware that sometimes we meet angels in human form as well. I know for me, it's a reminder sometime to do acts of kindness for other people as well. We can all be angels in practice. I'll pass it over now to Sharon.
Next slide. You know, Paul had started venturing into how angels communicate, and by telling the story that he did. And he mentioned that feeling of calmness and chills, or what's referred to in the Bible is called the quickening of the flesh or goosebumps. And the reason that you get that feeling is because the vibration of our spiritual helpers or angels is so high that when they come in contact with us as souls, we get that quick chill or quick charge and positivity. A lot of times you'll feel a strong sense of love, peace, or patience, or that inner calm, especially during times of extreme duress. To give you an example of that, I had a profound experience in my early years after I learned how to communicate deeply with my guidance. Um, I am the mother of 3 children, and particularly with my first child, I remember my angels first communicating with me that I was going to have a little girl long before the doctor did, and also the name that she, as a soul, wanted me to give her. Months later, as it came time for me to give birth to her, I could feel her presence moving in and out with excitement. I could also feel I was getting communications with my guidance that I was going to have that child the very next day at that time, and to prepare to have a good meal. I got had a good meal. My guidance woke me up before there was any indication that I was going to go into labor. To get ready, I knew to have my to awaken my husband. Um, and I also remember that when I gave birth to her, in the delivery room was this calm, this feeling of love, and I was able to see a host of angels just standing around us while we we're in the delivery room. And I realized from that moment, those were her spiritual helpers, her team of angels who had come to
Mm.
welcome her into this brand new world. And it made it feel like we were both royalty at that moment. I I'm anxious to hear some experiences before I go on from two of the participants. Lana, do you have an experience you can share?
Sure. Thank you, Sharon. I learned how to distinguish between the chills that I feel when my guidance comes closer, as opposed to just feeling cold, or because at first I didn't understand the difference. Um, but I realized that when I feel cold, I just get sort of my muscles constrict and everything feels kind of tight. When my guidance comes close and I feel chills, it can be in the different parts of my body, but it feels light, it feels expansive as opposed to constricting. And so that was my first lesson on the, well, I realized that I'm having this special experience with the energy that is outside of me. Um, and I think that's important, especially for someone who's just starting out, to know the difference. So that's what I wanted to share. Thank you.
Thank you. Roger, how about you? What kind of feelings do you get when you're connected with your angels?
Oh, it's awesome, Sharon. It's just, to me, it's the feeling of, when my guides come close, I feel it as just an extra inner peace. I'm much more patient. And when they communicate with me and share with me insights, it's like a still small voice within. I just kind of know things that I don't know how I know them. It's an awareness, and it's a very special feeling. And generally, I'll feel goosebumps or chills when spirit comes close. And during an early experience I had when I was learning this even more, I was in a meditation with guidance, and they said, Roger, you will never, ever be alone. You just always need to remember to ask for help. And so those were all very powerful insights that started me in the very beginning of my journey that has worked well for me throughout my life.
Thank you. Next slide. Based on what we've shared, we know that angels are our best friends and consultants. They're always there to give us suggestions and insights. The neat thing about this also is the fact that the angels don't judge us. They don't try to force us into anything because they respect our free will and our and they know that they're just there with good intentions to assist us. Now, when we came to planet Earth here, this special team of angels that we keep talking about, they came with us. In fact, we chose them before we came here to help us fulfill our own life purpose while we're here on planet Earth. And the reason that we picked them is because of the skills and the experience and the mastery from the times that they have been evolved here on planet Earth so many times over. And those particular skills can help us as we strive while we're here on planet Earth to fulfill our own life purpose. They know our past, our present, and our future. They know our past because they've been with us our entire life here on planet Earth. They also know what our plans were and what we need to heal if there's if we're in need of healing while we're here on planet Earth. They know the future because they know what our plans are and they can see ahead where we need to be, and they could give us that information, as illustrated with so many of the stories that we've heard here too. Now, we're going to talk a little bit about that later on, about how that works when we get through this presentation. So stay tuned. Back to you, Paul.
Thanks, Sharon. So let's expand a bit more on what's needed to be able to communicate successfully with our spirit guides or our angels. The first key is the ability to calm the mind. It's pretty hard to hear the still small voice within if our mind's busy or we have worries or concerns, things that are going on that occupy the mind space. So calming the mind's important. Some simple breathing, like that little technique we did just before, centering and meditation can be quite helpful. It's also good to establish a sacred space and time for yourself. When you have that clear space to yourself, you can just be yourself without any interruptions. For me personally, I take that sacred space and time early in the morning or either later in the evening when everything's calm and relaxed and the world's settled down a bit. We're going to do a little process now that can help you find that sacred space for yourself. It's called finding your sea of tranquility. Just feel into those words for a minute and see how it feels to you. Finding your sea of tranquility. I'll talk us through this. It's a bit of a guided process. So I'll get you to sit nice and relaxed in the chair with your feet on the floor. Close your eyes. And we'll do that same breathing technique. Breathing in to the count of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Breathing out to the count of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Breathing in 1, 2, 3, 4. Breathing out 1, 2, 3, 4. Now visualize yourself relaxing into a sea of tranquility, a place where everything is smooth, relaxed, calm, and peaceful, a place where everything feels very secure. Tune into the feeling of that, how it feels inside. While you're in that space, ask your spirit guides, your angels, to come close around you and give you a memory of a time when they were sending you inspiration or insights. Okay, so come on back gently and open your eyes. That technique is one you can use at any time. If you find that useful, finding your sea of tranquility and going to that space can really put you in the right space to be able to work with spirit and be able to hear the insights. So let's ask a few people what you experienced with that. Judy.
I love this technique, Sea of Tranquility. To me, my sea is a cloud. And I just feel like my arms are out and there's an angel on each cloud on each side of me. And I get wonderful insights. My career was speech therapy. And as a speech therapist working all day, I came home, I was exhausted. And I used to spend time, just quiet time in my Sea of Tranquility, releasing the day and embracing the evening. It really works. Thanks.
Thanks, Judy. Alvin, how about you?
Yeah, the sea of tranquility is really something that is good for me in the sense of just being able to slow down and steady myself, because I work at a private school and I work as an administrative support staff, managing a lot of things from admissions to finance and operations. And then day to day, we have our guys come in and out going to their classes and stuff like that. So it's a lot of stuff happening. You know, it's an understatement to say a lot of stuff happens. And so with that, it helps me, you know, when I do this routinely every single day. And I personally like to incorporate this with the breathing technique. When I do the breathing technique, I take myself to that sea of tranquility, and I feel like it makes it more potent. And I find myself really centered, really relaxed. And after I'm done doing the technique, I can feel a shift in my energy. And because of that, I take time to, because I commute to my job on a bicycle. And so before I even step out, as I'm getting ready, I'd have my moments of just going to my sea of tranquility. And then I go ahead out on my way, and then I'll do it again after I'm done at my job before I set out on my venture home, and then go back to my sea of tranquility. And it just helps me set that tone to just be more relaxed, to feel steady, feel secure. And it has helped me tremendously as a result of having done it a lot, especially routinely and being consistent with it. I've felt the effects. Thank you.
Thanks, Alvin. Great. I'll pass over to Shannon now to expand on that a bit more.
Thanks, Paul. Another important key for effective and successful communication is taking responsibility for your energy. Your angels want to meet you halfway and will meet you halfway. You just need to do your 50%. That means raising your vibration to that of theirs. Like Sharon was sharing, they have that highly charged, evolved, magnetized energy. So raising yours as close as you can to theirs helps them come close to you. Like attracts like. It's like the law of attraction. That means policing your thoughts, not indulging in negative or complaining thought patterns. What you focus on, you grow and expand. And if you do have a challenging situation, it's figuring out what you're learning from that situation and not dwelling on the tragedy portion of it. Let's hear from a few of our participants on how they work with raising their vibration and keeping their energy high. Roger?
Hi, thanks, Sharon. Yes, for me, this is very, very critical because it just helps me to stay at that higher awareness where my guidance is at. Because spirit is very positive, it's always very patient, it's loving, it's very respectful, and it's very solution oriented. And so if I find myself having a negative attitude and not realizing that there's always a solution available, then it's easy to overlook the insight of spirit. So it is so important to kind of like police my thoughts. And whenever I start taking on a cynical or negative or a blasé attitude, to make a change and shift that around.
Thanks, Roger. Dorinda.
Well, I know it is my responsibility to keep my frequency at a level where my guidance can communicate, can get through. And I know I've had a lot of opportunity in this life professionally and worked a lot with people and supervision and program management and things. And my guidance has been so integral to helping me make decisions. But part of my responsibility is remembering to ask and to keep my energy open and high and release any sort of foregone expectation of what an answer will be. So keeping my frequency up, there are cleansing and clearing techniques that go much beyond what we're sharing here today that really have helped me a great deal in quickly shifting my energy. And as Roger said, policing my thoughts and turning them around.
Thanks, Dorinda. In just a moment, I'm going to show you how to get a private one-on-one session, how you can work with your angels. And in that session, we're going to show you a deep cleansing technique on how to raise your vibration and help you get right back into the flow of that crystal clear energy and communication with your angels. But first, you need to know how to do this next technique. So I'd like for you to take a moment, take a few deep breaths, and take your hands and put them together and rub them gently together. And what you're doing is just charging your energy. When you feel like your hands are energized and charged, pull your hands apart about 1.5 inches, 2 inches, and take a moment, take a deep breath, and allow yourself to experience and feel what you're sensing in between your hands. You can play with that energy. You can pull your hands apart, move them back together. You can pull them out as far as you can reach. If you lose the feeling, just come back until you find it. And just work with that energy. See how you feel. And you can do that at any time. What that is that's what we call sensing your aura. What you felt there is your own energy, your vibration, your unique thumbprint in the universe. The importance of that technique is knowing what's me and what's not me. The more familiar you become with what your energy feels like, the faster you're going to know when your angels come close. You'll sense that it's a different vibration. You'll be able to feel that. You'll know when they come around and when they're wanting to communicate with you. You also start to get a feeling for when your own vibration is high or low, and what you can do to help raise that vibrational level. Because as you tune into it, you'll know what helps raise it and what lowers that vibration. When your angels come close, it can feel like chills or warmth in addition to that higher vibration that you'll start to tune into the more you do that technique. Next, I want to share with you what you'll be receiving in the private one-on-one angel session that we call the orientation profile. You'll find out how many angels you have this lifetime, your order of perception or sensitivity. You'll receive a checkup of your energy, how much of it is positive, negative, or uncommitted. You'll also be learning 2 techniques. The one I was sharing about, the deep cleansing technique where you can raise your vibrational level. And the second one is the direct communication with your angels. You'll learn how to ask questions and receive direct, clear answers from your angels. You'll also be able to keep that sheet that you see right there for yourself to keep referring back to. When I learned how to communicate with my angels and ask them questions, what was best for me. I never doubted my decisions or plans again. For example, I was in Australia for the very first time when the COVID-19 lockdowns began. And in spite of everything that was happening in the world around me, the fear, the uncertainty, all the upheaval that was going on, I was able to check with my angels what was best for me, where I needed to be, what I needed to be doing, and when I needed to be doing it. And as a result, I had a wonderful time in spite of all the lockdowns. I was in the right place at the right time to meet the right people, and I met some of the most beautiful, kind souls on the planet while I was over there. I ended up staying for 2 months before I got home, and I had no fear while I was there. So let's hear from a few of our masterclass participants on how they work with their angels and what it's like to be able to ask them questions. Dorinda.
It feels wonderful to be able to ask questions and get clear, direct answers. And as I said before, I kind of have to keep myself or my thoughts out of the way and just be open. But to think of the possibilities and then take it to my guidance, it helps to know what I want so that I can ask my guidance to help me in that area, because they do respect my free will. And I just know that my guides have helped me in every transition I've had in life, moving across the country several times, traveling around the world alone, and making decisions that had to do with people and money and business. I don't know what I do without that ability to check in and ask for insight about what the needs are in a particular situation.
Thanks, Dorinda. Alvin, how about you?
Yeah, what's interesting. I want to just share on when I got the profile, because for me, when I received my profile, something that it did for me was giving me that confirmation that I've always felt for a long time, and it gave me a lot of aha moments when I discovered what my first gift order was, which just to share a little bit, mine is prophecy. And so I got to learn in this profile some of the qualities, the balance and out of balance, balance qualities and out of balance tendencies of a prophetic or someone who's high in that first gift. And then also, because, I've always felt like when I was very young, I always felt like I had this sense of being looked out for. I had no idea. I thought, I grew up Catholic, believing in God, believing in angels, and I thought maybe perhaps God is looking out for me. And so, and to come to this where I was, and I had my profile done, it just essentially I felt a lot of things were connecting. It was just confirming and just piecing it all together for me, expanding my view of myself and my relationship into, with this world and other people. And now I feel a lot more elevated, more lifted, and more powerful, and just feel, glad that I have company there that I can work with on a daily basis. Thank you.
Thanks, Alvin. This is a really important one, communication with angels or guidance, spiritual helpers, spirit guides. Let's hear from one more in our master classes. Lana?
Thanks, Shannon. Yes, learning how to communicate with my guidance and trust that knowing or feeling or picture or word that comes to my mind, that they come from my guidance. That's a very important, it became so invaluable for me in my life. I'm a mother of 2 teenagers. So, I tell myself, oh, bless my own heart. We'll get through this period. It will pass. I'm also a business executive, so my daily life can get really hectic and busy, and I face situations where I have to make decisions regularly. It happens all the time. Sometimes it comes out of the left field. So connecting with my guidance and asking them to back me or support me on this decision or that decision is very important. I call them my supercomputer, because they have a bigger picture, bigger than I can have, and they can process so many variables about specific situation or circumstances that I can't even imagine. So they can give me an answer that I myself, just trying to process through my human brain, may not even able to even get close to. So sometimes in my work situations, I just recently had that experience. My team, we were brainstorming how to approach this one project, and people came up with great ideas, but there were too many of them. And at that stage in the project, it seemed like everything actually can work, but we had to make a decision, and the votes split. And I just knew I had to consult with guidance and ask which solution is the best in this situation for this particular project. And through the check and recheck technique that I learned, I was able to get the answer. So we were able to save a lot of time instead of continue arguing or discussing it. So we were able to cut through all of that and stay with that one solution and follow that particular direction. So in general, I just felt very validated when I also got my profile, because I always had a sense of inner knowing about something, sort of sensing ahead. And I didn't know where it's coming from or how to trust it or not. And I learned through getting a profile that actually this is my leading sensitivity, my main perception of this prophetic sensitivity that I have. So that felt really, really great and very supportive. Thank you.
Thanks, Lana. So now you may be wondering, how can you set up that profile and have that one-on-one private session? It takes about an hour, and it can be done in person or by video conference, Zoom, Skype, and you can register for your own private session right here on this page. And next, Sharon is going to show you even more ways to accelerate your spiritual growth. Sharon?
Unmute yourself, Sharon.
New Spiritual Horizons offers a number of community-based and online study groups, master classes, as well as retreats and conferences throughout the United States and internationally. And these classes, people are like-minded souls like you and I can get together and get a deeper understanding of how they can develop their own spiritual gifts, which are referred to in the profile that you would be getting, the 1 hour program profile, which indicates the type of ways that our spiritual guidance can communicate with us, as well as how we can communicate with the world around us. In order to get that information, you can call 800-336-8008 or go online to info@newspiritualhorizons.com. Now, before we close out our session today, though, I am going to work with you to just get a deeper connection with pure spirit right now. We're going to do a technique where we're going to unite our energies and experience the reality of living in two worlds, the feeling world and the physical world. So while you're seated, I want you to close your eyes and take a few deep breaths, just like Paul had shown us earlier, breathing in through your nose, counting up to 4, and out through your nose. And I want you to imagine your spiritual helpers or your angels are around you. Feel your body relax. Inhale, filling your body, mind, and soul with light. Exhale. Envision each of us gathering in a circle. Connect with the feeling of inner peace and healing. Imagine that the light energy radiating through and from you in our circle. Now expand this circle of light into waves of light and let that flow out through all of North and South America, taking that wave of love and light, expanding it to the west around the entire world. Blow this light and love outward 15 miles above the earth, looking back on this blue planet and seeing it enveloped in the light. Now release anything that needs to be healed out into the universe. Bring the light back to our circle above the Statue of Liberty. Inhale love and light into your being. Release the energy and open your eyes. Well, how do you feel? What did you experience?
Well, Sharon, that was just so smooth and relaxing and just feeling that inner peace no matter where I was.
Anybody else?
Yeah, Sharon, I'll share. I think my goosebumps had goosebumps. That was just really, wow. I felt all this energy. I could feel that I was a part of something greater than just the room I'm sitting in. And some of the people referred earlier to the feeling of not being alone. I shouldn't feel alone. I felt like I was with, scores and scores of amazing souls, not just the people here on the class today, but I could feel spirit. I could feel my angels. I could feel other angels. It was powerful. Thank you.
Just imagine. Oh, Judy, would you like to share?
Yes.
Yeah.
I love this technique. It's an amazing technique of not only me feeling cleansed, but spreading that energy. And my husband and I loved to travel before the pandemic. Whenever we traveled, we would send this energy around the plane, around the car, wherever we were going to our destination. And it was always smooth sailing when we remembered to cleanse. Thanks, Sharon.
This is great. I use this technique every evening before I go to bed. And it just kind of helps prepare me to go out and get energized enough so that when I wake up in the morning, I feel more refreshed and alert. So I hope all of you can find this technique useful for yourselves as well. And with that, I thank you for allowing me to share and be a part of this presentation. Paul.
You're still muted, Paul.
Yeah, I just realized. Thank you, Sharon. Yeah, it's been great to have people involved on here and look forward to being of service and working with people any way we can. Happy to be of service and connect with people. Thank you.
Thanks for staying with us to the end of the video. We want to hear from you. People all over the world are having this profile and experiencing a life-changing difference in their lives. Stay tuned for upcoming events, and remember you can register for that private one-on-one session right here on this page.